What's going on, homies? Thank you so much for tuning into my channel where I talk about my experiences and experiences of my family about moving to Los Angeles and pursuing a life in the film industry. So let's get started with this video. I'm gonna be telling you about how I got started in the voiceover world. So when I was about 20 years old, I decided that I wanted to become an actor, and I lived in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where there are not a lot of opportunities for actors. There are some, like in any place, but just not what I was looking for. I did get started there though, so I basically looked for the talent agencies that were there, and there are actually only two. I contacted the two of them, but only one got back to me. So basically they signed me up, they gave me an orientation and explained how the talent agencies work. I had no idea, but they were very helpful. After a few months of being with them, they asked me if I could do a voiceover recording. So I headed to their office and they had a microphone set up for me and a paragraph that I just basically had to read in Spanish. So they asked me to read it in like 2 or 3 ways, and that was basically it. And they contacted me saying that I booked the job. I was very excited, but even though I had no idea what voiceover work really was. So they emailed me all the information, the time, the date, on where to be. This job was recorded in a studio called the Fifth Floor Recording Studio in Milwaukee. It's in a very cool area of Milwaukee called the Third Ward. It's funny because when I arrived to Milwaukee, that area was not the way it is now. There's a bunch of old factory buildings, and when I was driving by there, they were all kind of burnt and abandoned, and I was actually kind of scared of that city at the moment. And now it's all renovated, they preserve all these buildings, and it's a really cool neighborhood. Anyways, so I got to this building. It's a very cool office, lots of artwork, lots of creative people there. Ray Pfister is the one that owns that recording studio. His studio is decorated with all these Beatles memorabilia, and it's just a cool place. So basically there was a booth where voiceover talent records, and there's an area where the sound engineer is. So they asked me to go into the booth, and there were some headphones and a microphone and a little window where you can see the recording studio. So I wasn't really sure on what to do. They motioned me to put the headphones on, so I put them, and then I could hear what they were saying. And Ray asked me to give him a few levels. I wasn't really sure on what to do, and so then he said, just read what you're gonna be doing and the way that you will. So then I just started reading, and he says, okay, I got the levels. And basically it didn't take that many takes because there were just a couple of lines for a gas station commercial, and everything was pretty simple, and I was like, okay, I kind of like this. He said, have you done this before? And I was like, not really. He's like, well, you're really good, you should consider about getting into this. So then I went home and I was like, you know, this sounds great, I should definitely get into voiceover work. So then I basically went into my computer, I grabbed some books, made some copies of some pages, and wrote down some commercials, and I basically recorded them with a microphone that I had, it was like a really small, cheap microphone. I don't even know how I recorded it, and I burned it into a CD, and I sent it to the other agency that they were known for sending a lot of people into voiceover work. And they didn't call me, which in retrospective, of course they were not gonna call me. That voiceover demo sounded horrible. And a lot of people nowadays ask me, hey, I have a really good voice, or people compliment my voice that I should do voiceover. And then I'm like, that's great, you should get started. And they always ask me, how do I get started? And I say, you're gonna need a voiceover demo. And this is a mistake that happens to everyone. They think that their musician friend, or their friend with a microphone, or their filmmaker friend is gonna record a voiceover demo for them, not knowing the specs that are required for voiceover representation. So voiceover is very specific, and basically the demo is a showcase of what you can do with your voice. And I talked to Ray, and he said, you know, you're gonna need a voiceover demo and some coaching so we can get the best out of your voice and you can showcase that. Let's say you wanna be an actor, right? You're gonna need a headshot, and the minute that you send that headshot to an agency, they're gonna look at it and they're gonna know if you're serious about it or not, or if you know what you're doing. And sometimes you might not have the best headshot, and if you have the look that they're needing or they're looking for, you might get a callback. But with voiceover, it's kind of the same, right? So if you get a voiceover demo by someone that recorded in their living room, or someone that doesn't know what they're doing, it's gonna be obvious that you are not professional and you don't know what you're doing, and they're not gonna call you back. So basically, my voiceover demo, my first one, was very expensive. I did a lot of research, and compared to the Chicago area, over there they were like, some places were charging $3,000 to $5,000 to record a 60-second voiceover demo. Now 60 seconds is the standard. If you have a voiceover demo that lasts a minute and a half, they're gonna listen to that minute and a half and know that you are not legit. That's why you need someone that knows what they're doing when it comes to recording your voice. Because the second that someone starts listening to that, they know that you are professional or not. And you want to look professional, because if you are thinking about voiceover, you want to be thinking about the long run, not the short term. So basically, after we produced my first commercial voiceover demo, commercial, you are going to need something that is specific. So if you want to do commercials, then you're going to need a voiceover demo that is focused on commercials. If you want to do narrations, you are going to need one for narrations. If you're going to do animation, you're going to need an animation demo. So same with acting, right? So if you need a headshot, you need your commercial headshot that is going to be a little bit more happy, a little bit more of a bigger smile. If you want a theatrical headshot, then it's going to be a little bit more serious, more intense in your eyes. So same with voiceover, and same with anything else, right? Things have to be specific and professional. So after I got my voiceover demo, my wife designed my logo, she designed some covers for my CDs, business cards, and I packaged it really nicely once I had that voiceover demo on a DVD. And I started basically sending it to the best agencies that I could find in the Chicago area. And guess what? I started getting callbacks. I started getting meetings and people wanting to represent me because my voiceover demo sounded great. I presented it great. I showed up with confidence. Like, looked like I knew what I was doing, even though I was just getting started. And I also had a big advantage, which is Spanish. I speak Spanish with a neutral accent. I moved from Mexico City to the United States, and I had a very Mexico City accent. Very stereotypical Mexico City accent. So with time, my accent started becoming a little bit more neutral. And now the Spanish standards for voiceover is Spanish neutral from Mexico City or Colombia. So other than that, if you have an accent, it's gonna have to be very specific. So if you have an Argentinian accent, it's gonna be specific to Argentinian market. If you have Spanish accent from Spain, it's gonna be very specific to the market from Spain. In the United States, the majority of the Hispanic people it's gonna be the Mexican market, and they wanna cater to all of the Latino market, which is gonna be done with a neutral accent, because then you don't know where that voice is from. So after I got signed up with the agency, I did not hear for about a year. Not even a single audition. I was just kind of down, you know. I was like, I'm not even getting any auditions. And after the first years, when I started getting some auditions, I talked to one of the most successful voiceover actors from the Midwest, Milwaukee as well. And he said it takes about 10 years to build a career in the voiceover world. So I was just like, 10 years, like, that's so much time. But then I was also thinking, those 10 years are gonna pass by anyway, so might as well get started, right? I just basically kept going, and I tried to get better at it. So I took some voiceover coaching. I started doing improv, so I started going to the Chicago area, to the second city, and I completed the program. And I just wanted to get really good at voiceovers. And time kept passing by, you know, a couple of years passed by, and I started getting better stuff and better auditions, and I booked here and there. And after, I would say, the first 4 years is when I started getting some big stuff. I've gotten some commercials, a lot of narrations, and in the Midwest area, there is a lot of corporate work, so for jobs for big companies, right? So basically, it took quite some time to start getting that nice work. But when I got it, I made some really, really good money. So after that is when I decided to move to Los Angeles. I sent my voiceover demo to a couple of the best agencies that I knew, and they called me back still. And I've been with them ever since I moved to Los Angeles 2 years ago. And something that happened that I thought it was pretty cool is that basically I booked the first audition that I had in this agency, and it was within 2 weeks of being with them, and they were all very impressed. After that, it took a while, I would say many months, to book something again, and then I've gotten a couple of things. So Not that much work with this agency, but you have to keep in mind that I'm in Los Angeles, one of the most competitive cities in the whole world, and you have the best people coming to this city and trying to get that same work. So there is a lot of work all over now with the internet, right? You can keep connected and audition everywhere remotely. I have an agency still in Milwaukee, in Chicago, in Denver, Colorado, and in Los Angeles. So I'm getting auditions from a lot of places, and it still is really hard to book because I relocated and I had to start from scratch again. And I'm getting work here and there. And I've booked some major stuff for McDonald's, for Carl's Jr., for American Airlines, for Lending Club. So that's it for the video. That's how I got started in the voiceover world. Let me know if you have any questions on the comments below or message me, and I will definitely reply to you. Thank you so much for watching, my homies. Make sure you subscribe, you like this video, and I will see you soon.